Good morning, Lower School, and welcome to week 6 of our English sessions. So this week, our focus is on determiners. What are determiners? Well, determiners are words placed in front of a noun, and a noun is a person, place, or thing, to make it clear what the noun refers to. So let's take a look at some examples. So, determiners has lots of different categories. So we've got articles, which is a, an, and the, and they are the only 3 articles. But then determiners can also be numerals, so numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can continue that. Possessives, which is my, your, his, her, theirs, ours. Ordinals, which is about putting things in order, so first, second, third, fourth, and so on. Demonstratives, which means we're demonstrating this, or that, or these, or those. And quantifiers, which is talking about the quantity, but not as specific as numerals. So it could be a few, another, a several, many. But what does that look like in sentences? Well, let's take a look at some examples. The grumpy old woman sat on a bench in the park counting the ducks. There's lots of determiners in here. Why don't you pause and see if you can find them? Did you find some? Let's take a look. The grumpy old woman. Well, we know at the start of our sentence we have grumpy old woman, which is our noun. So woman is our noun, old and grumpy are our adjectives. And remember from last time we looked at expanded noun phrases. That's an expanded noun phrase. And do you remember I said each expanded noun phrase needed to start with a determiner? Well, there it is, the. The grumpy old woman sat on a bench. Oh, have a look at that, an article right there, a, which refers to it being one bench as well. In the park, we've got another the, counting the ducks. And again, we've got ducks as our noun, park as our noun, bench as our noun, woman as our noun, and the grumpy old woman as our expanded noun phrase. So always remember our determiner comes before. Let's take a look at another one. 5 helicopters flew over the house this morning. Can you spot any? There's quite a few. So in this one, we have a numeral determiner because it tells us how many helicopters there were. How many helicopters were there? There were 5. And they flew over the house. House being our noun and the being our determiner. This morning, can you notice anything? That's correct. It's a demonstrative determiner right there. So in this sentence, we've got 3. So let's take a look at our final example before we look at the book. A man grabbed his jacket as there was a lot of rain. Can you see any? There are quite a few in here. A man being our noun, grabbed his jacket. Here's a lovely possessive determiner, and it says that the man owns the jacket, and jacket being our noun. As there was a lot of rain, and lot of is our quantifier. It talks about that there was quite a bit of rain. For this week, our lovely picture is the girl standing on the pontoon. So do you remember we talked about the similes and the girl walking through the forest? The girl has now reached a pontoon with her crayon. Let's take a look at some examples of sentences that include determiners. Here's our first one. The girl slowly walked over the old rickety pontoon. Can you see we've got a lovely expanded noun phrase there? And what do you notice before that expanded noun phrase? That's correct, a determiner. And as you can see, our sentence also starts with a determiner, with girl being our noun. She gazed down at her reflection and smiled sweetly. Can you spot any here? That's correct. There's one possessive, and it's her. because she gazed down at her reflection. Let's take a look at another one. Ideas began to race through her mind. Can you spot any? That's correct. There's another possessive determiner. It's her mind. Mind being the noun. So as you can see, there's lots of examples of determiners that you could be using. Why don't you take a look at the picture and try to write some of yourself? And remember, you can add them onto our Purple Mash blogs. The teachers are really looking forward to seeing what you come up with. I look forward to sharing with you the next week's grammar focus.